are, the magic post-it notes. Sacred geometry. There you go. Live. Hey! Ho ho! The old timers are here. The old crowd. Yay! Well, let's just put that on record. Let's put that on record. Thanks, Gregory. So, I don't know who else is here. Elizabeth Boucher. Good evening, Elizabeth. I'm sorry I haven't got back to you recently. I've just been up to my neck in things that, you know, lots of tiny little things that add up, and just trying to keep up is really hard. Okay? All right. Gregory, we do have a booking for Gregory Ross. There we go. Thank you. Yes, this is Sunday Night Live Mini Tarot Readings. Can you believe this? We've been doing it almost 8 years. Oh, thank you, Tina. Is the British government a mystery to anyone but me? No, honestly, the British government, I don't know what. All right. Thank you, Tina. Thank you, Gregory. So, since you asked, some of you know, let me share. I'll come back to the chart in a little bit, okay? Now, tonight is about the tarot readings, but I've got to do the astrology anyway, just in the background for reference, just in case we need it, okay? So, good evening. Hi, this is TarotLumination, Sunday Night Live. Yay. Oh, my God. So, I didn't know what to say, because I feel kind of rude calling out what I'm seeing in England. England has turned into an absolute insane asylum. It's really just insane what's happening over there. I lived in England at the very end stages of the British Empire. The British Empire, I believe it went for at least 2 Pluto cycles for about 500 years. They literally dominated the world. The British had so much going for them. Right now, today, it's a tiny little island with about 60 million people, I think, something like that. But back in the day, it was a place of battles, endless battles and battlefields. For some reason, it's like some kind of video game where you have to conquer the British or whoever's living there at the time. And so when I was a kid going to school, they taught us old British history and things like that. Just to give you an example of the mind warp, where I went to school actually was something like my own library here, okay? It was very, very old, and one of the buildings where I would hang out was for the, let's say, a special crowd of students who'd already gone up through the ranks in the school, and you were now kind of a senior. And if you had good reports, good behavior, you could hang out in this building. And it was the original building of the school, and it was called Winchester College, and it was already active before the building was built, but this particular building was very symbolic, like this is the school. And that building was built in the year 1102, I believe, 1102. And the British were very strong at that time. It's just mind-boggling to think of it, you know, just going on and on and on. The British Navy is a big part of their success. They chopped down a lot of trees because England was just covered in luscious green oak forests. They used a lot of that to make the ships over hundreds of years, and the ships allowed the British to go all over the world and set up colonies and the British Empire and everything. And today, to me it looks very shambolic because it's been heavily infected by, I think, communist, socialist, bureaucratic elites, the World Economic Forum, the United Nations, the European Central Bank, the European Union, and all their ridiculous, bizarre policies that I could call them out. Yeah, I could say very rude things, but I'm on YouTube right now, so I have to be very careful. I have to tell you, I've been on Rumble now for almost a month, maybe 3 weeks, something like that. And I've been doing little shows every night, an hour here, an hour there, going over the astrology. And I don't apologize for anything I'm saying. And no one has shut me down yet. I mean, take that away. No one has shut me down. Hey. Oh, yeah, hold on, the chat. Let me catch up with the chat here. I have to... Yes, Gregory, you read law at Magdalen College. Was that Oxford or Cambridge? I think it's Oxford, yeah. I lived in Oxford for a while. I went to some schooling there. You have to understand, I was exposed to the most elite of the elite of British society. And it made me kind of feel kind of stinky because I knew people who had families, generations going back hundreds and hundreds of years. And that felt very strange to me because all I knew was my mom and my dad, my brother and sister, and a couple of my grandparents, a couple of nieces and cousins, and that was about it. I didn't have a lot of sense of history. America was still very new. America still is very new. We've only had one Pluto cycle. That's it. But right now, the Conservative Party in England, which is sort of like the Republicans over here, it's absolute chaos. They are almost like far-left socialists from what I can see. And they just got rid of their guy, Rishi Sunak, who's part Indian, from India, and his wife, very wealthy people who found their way to the top of British society, and he just got replaced with a lady, I can't spell her name, but she sounds very British. She's a black woman, and so they were celebrating, for the first black woman potential leader of the Conservative Party. Bravo, bravo, bravo. And then you have like the mayor of London, and the mayor of Scotland, the prime minister over in whatever it's called in Scotland. They're all hardcore Islamics. I don't get it. I just don't get it. The British, when I was a kid in Britain, it was very British. You had your scones and your strawberry jam and your clotted cream on Sundays, and you had a proper pot of British tea with proper tea leaves that came from India, and you steep it in the pot and you stir it around, and you have 2 lumps of sugar and cream, and you sip it out of a very expensive porcelain cup. I don't think they do that anymore. It's all being destroyed. All that British culture is like, ugh. The king, oh God, the queen, oh, disgusting. The royal family is disgusting. I didn't resonate too well, but there are certain things I really loved about England, is that they had a tremendous sense of power and order and structure, which I really liked. I didn't fit in very well, but I liked the sense that it was there. And today I just see a tragic, crippled country after, I would say, about 30 years of rampant socialism, and now it's gone completely berserk. And I don't know if you can save England anymore. It's been completely overrun by like a mass immigration crisis, and there's a lot of what I would call white guilt over there in England. And a lot of British people are saying, we're sick of this whole white guilt thing. We're not guilty of anything. Most of the world's economy and legal systems are based on British law because they're that good, because it works. But anyway, Thank you for bringing that up. So, Tina, we have to celebrate. Tina, congratulations. You've finally got awarded your SSI. So you're going to have a good life. You're going to have a good life. And from the notes it says, you didn't even have to go to court. Ah. Yeah. Oh, book you too. You want a reading too, Elizabeth? Sorry, I didn't see that. Oh. All right, okay, I'll get you the magic post-it note, all right? So don't worry, Elizabeth. We got you set up. Let me go to the astrology just for a few minutes. I'm not going to linger because I don't want to stir up a hornet's nest. Oh, gosh. Anyway, if anyone's interested, I'm doing a daily show in the evenings over on Rumble. TarotLumination on Rumble. You just go to rumble.com. It's like YouTube. There we go. So there you go. That's it. No more bookings. That's enough. Love you guys. And if there's all sorts of interested people out there who want a reading, you'll have to come to next week or book me privately, okay? Let's have a look. Hold on. I'm still reading some of the chat here. You know, England is the old sick uncle of Europe. Yeah, it's kind of tragic. It really breaks my heart. Hey neighbors, someone said you all have a chance of snow tonight. Okay, well, Hemis had snow today. Okay, yeah. Actually, we've got snow over on Mount Charleston over here. It took you 18 months with an attorney, but no court. Actually, Tina, you did really well. The longer it took, the more deductions they applied. Very different experience than you. I'm happy you didn't have the same experience. Yeah, Love Triber had a brutal journey. The energy feels very strange to Tina. Well, no surprises there. So in case you haven't been here for a while, I'm just going to show you a little bit of TarotLumination history. These are all my astrodoodles, mostly since I started on Rumble. Okay? And a while back, astrologically speaking, we had this monster thing in the heavens, this amazing piece of sacred astrology, sacred geometry. This is a massive grand sextile. It's a very beautiful, very powerful astrological alignment, and it comes with its own internal issues, of course, challenges, massive oppositions and polarities, highlighting relationships. Opposition, oppositions, oppositions. That signals relationships. You and the other and you. You and a spouse, you and a parent, you and a child. Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, Democrats and Republicans. Israel versus Iran, Russia versus Ukraine, and so on and so on. The United States versus China, and so on and so on. This aspect right now today is extremely warlike. It's very powerful live right now. Most of this green stuff is still active right now, except for this stuff at the end here. Not this stuff at the end, but it's still a very powerful alignment, and it happens to be extremely supportive as an energy field to anybody who wants to access it and exploit it, for better or worse. The Kamala campaign is exploiting it in the most amazingly powerful, effective fraud campaign to try and win the election. Donald Trump's coming at it from a different way. He has very powerful alignments that are heavily supported by some of these aspects, but it's in a very different way. Here we are. This was yesterday. You can see this big fat green alignment here. I'm pointing that up to Neptune. I'm not going to go into any detail, okay? But it's these what we just had 5 days ago is still lingering astrologically. These are very, very powerful alignments. And Tina, if it feels strange to you, it's because it is. There's a lot of cusp energy here. Mars, Neptune, Pluto, and right now we've even got a little Mercury. Well, actually, no, let's go to today. Let's just move straight over till today. Okay, so we've got cusp energy. That can be very unsettling for people. Here's a classic example. Pluto in Capricorn, 29.5 degrees. I'll just show you here. If you can see it. Right over there. Okay, that's very, very, very difficult energy to handle in astrology. It's right on the cusp here between Capricorn and Aquarius. It's like, which is it? Which is it, people? Because we can already smell and sense the powerful Aquarian vibe, and we can also smell the death of the Capricorn vibe. We're going from here to here. It's a very different paradigm. It's going to cause revolution across the whole world. It's very destabilizing. It's part of the evolutionary process. Things have to die in order to be reborn. So anyway, I know it looks like a squiggly mess, but these green lines here signify very powerful self-amplifying energy field that especially culminates over here at the Neptune cusp. That amplifies the ability for Kamala to commit fraud on a mass scale, which is exactly what's happening. So if that's making you feel very unsettled, I'm not surprised, because I'm very, very disturbed by what's happening in America. I can't do much about it. I voted, and you obviously know how I voted. So, anyway, just wanted to point that out. The other aspects that are very difficult is the Pluto-Mars opposition. This is war, okay? I'm trying to be really polite here on YouTube, but it's essentially about war across the world. Again, I just described that. You know, China, USA, the global foreign exchange currency markets, Iran, Israel, Ukraine, Russia, all the wars in Africa, all the revolutions that are happening in Central and South America. It's insane, crazy stuff, okay? All right. Oh, it's snowing right now. Wow. Wow, cool. Whew. It's not quite that cold here. All right. I'm going to leave this in case we need references, but I'm not going to dwell on the astrology tonight. Sorry. Those days are over on YouTube. What I am going to do is pour myself a little treat here, because I'm running on fumes. Alrighty. Alright, so what I'd like to do actually, now I'm thinking, now that we're here, excuse me. What I'd like to do for all the old timers and the regulars who've been here for a long time, I'd like to invite people to come visit me on Rumble. It's rumble.com, TarotLumination on Rumble. You click the blue button. That's it. Ready to go. And we do the astrology. Now, if there's anybody, now everybody here knows everybody, okay? There's Tina, there's Gregory, Elizabeth, that's great, and there's Love Triber, great. If anyone else is watching and you've never seen this or done this before, we used to do all of this on YouTube. I did all the astrology and the tarot, but YouTube basically destroyed my channel, and I am effectively dead on YouTube, but I am starting to, I feel like I'm a little tiny seed over there on Rumble. I'm kind of starting up again. Thank you. There's the link. Wow. Well done, Gregory. Wow. How did you do that? So, you know what? I'm going to just put away my... how are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? All right. Well, you know what? Let's just dive in. Now, Gregory, I don't know if you're okay with this because we've done a lot of work together recently. If you want to go out and have fun with the furry friends and everything, I'd like to start with Tina or Elizabeth. Anybody have any preferences? And die before you die. Workers' comp. Oh, okay. All right, so I think we should just dive in, you know? All right, let's set this up for you. I'm gonna... There you go. Okay, so how about, let's start with Tina to celebrate. Fantastic news. It must be such a tremendous sense of relief because you're basically, it's like you can relax a little bit, okay? Congratulations, Tina. That's a huge landmark moment in your life. And of course you deserve it. You deserve... Actually, let's just do it like this. Okay, here we go. We're going to start with Tina. And we'll come to Elizabeth and then Gregory. All right? So let's see, that's what that looks like. Do you remember the days when we had lots of candles and sparkly things and spectacular presentations and 40 videos a month all about the astrology for every sign, sun, moon, and rising, and 3 different readings for each sign? And oh, the glory days. Oh, dear, dear, dear. And those are the days when Google and YouTube thought I was like a wonderful, wonderful little channel. And then they realized, wait a minute, we don't like this guy. After all, he's starting to talk about things that are not approved. Did you know, by the way, that Google is the biggest donor, the biggest corporate donor to the Kamala campaign? What does that tell you, folks? What does that tell you? You know what? I should just shut up about that stuff because I don't want to sway people one way or another. I'm just going to do tarot readings, okay? Most of you know my political leanings, so we'll do that on Rumble if you want to come and visit there. I'll just try and shut up and just do tarot, okay? Yeah. Alright, so the cards are well shuffled in advance, but I want to go a little bit more to the last second. Tina, you know the routine. We've been worked together for years. You might want to just... what I do over here is I just quietly, discreetly ask for my invisible friends to come around and give me some support and just basically amplify the little vortex or the energy field in which we are flowing here. If you think of it as an invisible form of resonance, okay? The best way I can think of to describe resonance is when you take like a... Okay, let's pretend this is a beautiful, expensive crystal wine glass, okay? And let's pretend this is an identical crystal wine glass. And they both have the same amount of wine inside them. And then you know that trick where you dip your finger in there and then you start to go around the rim and it kind of goes wow, wow, wow. And then you start to look over here and you realize, oh my God, that glass is doing the same thing, but nobody's touching it. Whoa! That's a good example of resonance. I don't know if you've ever seen that before, but it's like a little party trick, you know? Okay. Oh, wait a minute. Where are we? Let's have a look. I got the really, really big maps if you want. But hello, Gregory, since we're all talking about locations here. There's Gregory over there in Santa Fe. And Tina's right over there near Albuquerque, up in the mountains there. Cool. Elizabeth is over here on the beach in LA, Los Angeles. Sometimes we have Maria from Arkansas. Sometimes we have Ivona from New Jersey. It's been a while. We've had all sorts from all over. I have to admit I'm a little bit kind of behind. I've never been very good at self-promotion and all the technology with the channels. I just like to do shows and then stop and then do another show and then stop. And if people find it, then, oh, that means they were meant to find it. But there were periods when we had people from pretty much every continent all over the world on a regular basis. A lot of fun. All right. All right, so I think we're pretty much set to go. I hope you're nice and cozy at your new home, Tina, and your big furry friends are there with you, sharing your abundance. Okie-dokie. All right, Tina, let's see what's going on. I'm going to use my same old spread that I've been doing for 8 years. It's my little mini situational spread. It's a diagnostic tool in case there's newbies here watching, you don't know what it is. I think of it as diagnostics. There's other ways you can do tarot. I've been doing it a long time. I've done thousands of readings. In the end, I developed my own spreads. I have my situational spread. I have my relationship spread. And I have my heart journey spread. Okay? I do the other two big ones in private sessions. I don't do them live. If anyone's interested, oh, wow, talk about promotions. If anyone's interested, this is what it looks like. You can go to TarotLumination.com. That's the website. Tonight I'm just showing the donation page for where people make their donations to book their live mini readings. But you can also explore. There's a shop. You can get merch. You can connect with me. You can book a reading. You can schedule a reading. You can buy a reading. You can get the links to have your live reading. For example, if somebody wanted to book a live reading, they'd go through the process at TarotLumination.com. We schedule a time and day. You get your astrology data, your time, date, month, year of birth, and location. Send that over to me. I have to do a lot of preliminary homework. And then when that's done, I get back to you. We schedule your time and day to meet, and it's just like this. We end up on a private Zoom Pro meeting place, and it's just you and me. We can deal with anything, okay? Which we've done many times before. All right. Okay. Oh, God, excuse me. Oh, excuse me. All right, let's just get the final shuffle. Okay. All right, here we go. I think we're good to go. No, I'm not ready. I'm not ready yet. I have to sense it in my body. Excuse me. Okay, let's do it. Okay, Tina, what kind of messages do we have here for Tina tonight, okay? Gosh, it's a big deal. That's a very transformational event that you've just had, Tina. Getting that approval. Moving forward in life, it's going to be a different life. You can take the pace down a bit. Maybe you don't have to work as much. Maybe you don't have to subject yourself to such grueling schedules and jobs that you used to have. Oh, God. Oh, please, let's not talk about animal abuse. It's just horrific right now. It's just unbelievable the amount of animal abuse going on in America. It's disgusting. Federal government, Peanut, the squirrel, it's disgusting. If you really want to understand how evil this government has become, just follow the Peanut story. Anyway, all right. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle things. And let's have a look at external influences right now. So we have, oh, this is beautiful. We got the Three of Wands. This is very, to me, this is very comforting to see this. This tells me that you're looking forward to a, let's say, I don't want to say joyful, but a sense of relief in the future where, like, my God, I've got a whole new world unfolding in front of me now. Everything, all the paradigms have changed. Now, of course, you had to go through a lifetime to get here to where you are right now. But in some ways, it's almost like the show is beginning. It's just beginning. It's just like, wow, wait. Like, for example, like, let's just think about time. Did you ever imagine, 10, 20, let's say a whole Saturn cycle, okay? A complete Saturn return. Did you ever imagine 30 years ago, I'm not saying today is the Saturn return or anything like that, but I'm just using that as a timestamp. Let's go back all the way to 30 years. That's a long way back. Did you ever imagine you'd be in this situation now, where you had to go to the government, you did the SSIs, you've got your 2 big doggies, you've got your own place, house up in the mountains, you've got independence. And even though being awarded SSI is kind of a badge of recognition that you have suffered some deep physical health limitations that are completely debilitating, like you can't work anymore. On the other hand, I think what you just had is a beautiful thing, and it's opening up new horizons. That's what I see here with the Three of Wands. It's just like, now I can look forward to a whole new world, and it's something that you've earned. You've created this. This could only have happened because you've earned it. And it's like you're reaping the rewards of a life well lived. Okay? It's very much a look into the future. And I sense like renewed vigor, like a sense of life. Okay, so there's, moving back 30 years forward, let's say we're here today now, you can look around your life and your world and realize, my God, this could actually be fun. All right, let's have a look at the situation itself. Okay, so there's a bit of a reckoning. We've got the Six of Pentacles here. So it's time to, I think, assimilate and digest very gently and slowly the actual meaning of what's just happened to you and for you. It's a very benevolent situation. Let's just say that massive grand sextile was happening roughly at the time where you were awarded your SSI accordingly. And now it kind of requires you to take a whole new look at your lifestyle, where, because you know where you stand financially in this situation, you can kind of make projections like, now that I know that this is what my financial situation is like, I can make projections like, okay, we can, let's say, prioritize this, and this. Like maybe the house, maybe the dogs, maybe some travel, maybe some remodeling, who knows what. And then maybe we could start to do something about very, very long-term, let's say long-term retirement issues. Okay, 60 next week. Congratulations. Long-term retirement. So how does that all going to work out? And the way I see it, this is something you can work at gently and easily. In other words, it's time to reward yourself and enjoy the benevolence of what just happened. At the same time, award yourself, balance things out. So it's almost like the worst thing you could do is gorge on the good fortune. Instead, what it looks like is like literally balancing things out and asking yourself a question every time you come up to things. Now if I don't want to sound offensive here, but I know I'm prey to these things. Like if I had an extra $100 just come out of my butt somewhere, it's like, oh my God, wow, I didn't expect that. What am I going to do? Oh, shall I get some ice cream? Or shall I buy this thing that I've always wanted? And then I kind of like have to, I said, calm down, calm down, calm down, calm down. Let's figure out, what do I need? What do I want? And then you balance things out. You know, lottery winners are notorious for just splurging it all. And then they end up worse off than they were before. And so on and so on. So when I see the Six of Cups here for you, Tina, to me it feels like a message. It's just like, now that you know there's some stability in your life, in your world, you can plan accordingly. But for every, let's say, every day where you know you need to, let's say, spend money, whether it's a utility bill or getting some milk or groceries or eggs or something, it would be good, what I'm sensing here with the Six of Pentacles, it would be good to always have like a little sort of, a little app going in your brain. Like, is this something I need or is this something I want? And then figure out, okay, if I want it, is it because it's trivial and fun and has no long-term meaning or value, but it will be fun? And then balance that out. Well, on a fixed, when we have a very specific amount of dollars that we're working with, what do I actually need? And so always it's important to put what you need ahead of what you want. And then once you've figured out what you need, then you can just kind of go chill. Oh, well, now I've figured out what I need. Budget accordingly. I'm going to take care of that. Oh, I need to fix a car tire. I had to clean the gutters on the house. Things I had to do. And let's say you just took care of a bunch of things and there's a bit of respite. And next month or the month after you think, you know, I'm in pretty good shape. I don't need a lot of stuff right now because I've already done all that stuff and it's already in line. So what do I want? Maybe I'll go out to this thing or that place that I always wanted to do but never could before. That would be something that you want. And so on and so on. So it's just a balancing act. That's what I'm sensing here. Going forward, it's really, really important as you like get used to your new paradigms here, that you navigate things in a way that comports with stability. All right. Always constantly balancing the budget so that things are very good and healthy for the long term. Okay? Let's have a look. What are the challenges here? Okay, so in some ways it looks like it's a little bit scary because this is a card of sacred opportunity. It's the Ace of Swords and it's in this challenging position. And so my feeling is that, yeah, this is very, very exciting, but something inside of you, there's a little bit part of you inside of you, which is like, oh my God, it's like, I've had so many twists and turns in my life, ups and downs, immense good fortune, immense tragedy. I've made some mistakes. I've done some good things. I am loving and I am loved. But this is a new chapter. This is a whole new chapter. It's just started, probably, coinciding closely with the Scorpio new moon and the big sextiles, the big grand sextile we had. So it's a very powerful alignment that is, in some ways, I think, very supportive of you and for you. But my feeling here with the Ace of Swords is there's a part of you that's just like, oh my God, I know, I can like overthink things sometimes, and I run away with ideas and thoughts and, let's say, plans, and get excited. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I want to do that because I can. And I have a right to do that. But there's a bit of fear associated with it because of previous history where you're like, oh shit, I can't afford to screw up anymore. I cannot afford to just go out wild and just doing whatever I want, however I want, on a whim, just because I could, if I wanted to, by tipping the scale heavily towards what I want at that moment. And then, so it's, in other words, it's acknowledging your own vulnerability to yourself. All of us have this to some degree. In other words, what's the common expression? Oh, I am my own worst enemy. That would be the Neptune energy. That is the house of it. Let's do a quick astrology reference here. Now we're doing it. I'm not saying this is you or anything like that, but this point here, wherever it lies, it's going to be in somebody's chart somewhere at the high degrees Pisces. And so where that transit is happening right now, it could indicate that there's a point of vulnerability in your own astrology where you could be easily prone to being like, oh God, not again. I'm my own worst enemy. I just did it again. Damn it. I should have seen that coming. Duh. I should know myself better than that by now. Duh. Over here, this is the 12th house. It's ruled by Neptune, sign of Pisces. It's the house of endings. It's the house of self-undoing. Okay? So it's like you know exactly what we're talking about. I'm not being offensive or anything, but it's being aware of your own nature and being aware of it acutely enough to realize that, oh my God, I am vulnerable to my worst, behaviors. So I have to be very careful because, oh God, I could easily sabotage myself. No, it's not allowed. Okay, so moving forward, let's have a look. Aha! Moving forward. So we've got the Emperor here. Now this is very masculine energy. It's very powerful energy. And my feeling is, the message is, it's time, Tina, to really take charge, become the boss, and do not apologize for doing what you have to do, being who you have to be, saying what you have to say, and how that works out, knowing that you've got a core nature of being a bit of a compassion junkie. So for your whole life, you've probably been aware of it up to some point that like people take advantage of you because you're naturally compassionate. It could be friends, family, employees, associates, or whatever. And of course, you had a whole career of taking care of other people when they are in very, very bad situations. And it's time to take care of yourself now. You are number one. It's time for you to be the boss of you. Award yourself the right to crown yourself as the emperor of your own world. Now, it's a masculine energy. This is not the empress, but the reason the male, I guess what I'm sensing here is that it's time to be the boss of you, but in a way where if you have to, you must be prepared and willing to ruthlessly subdue any kind of self-limiting behavior or actions that would be repeats from the past where you regret it later on. And that, in other words, that is not allowed anymore. Exactly. Thank you, Necessary Truth. I see that right there. It's time for Tina to take care of Tina. It's the hardest thing to do. It's the hardest thing to do, okay, Tina? Love thyself. It's right on the front page of my website. Love thyself. It's so much easier to give it away or, deplete it or, dissipate it in, let's say, delusions of what love really is. It's time for the best thing, Tina, is for you to acknowledge your own worst fears about yourself and put it in place. Know the enemy. Know thy enemy. In other words, that part of yourself which is the enemy to you. Know that very well. You probably have a pretty good awareness of your own fragilities, your own weaknesses, your own self-depreciating behaviors or actions or decisions. And that is no longer permissible. Okay? It's like you're going to have to be really strict, firm, and tough with yourself, but that will actually benefit you in your life going forward and bring greater stability and harmony, and that will start to resonate in your aura, where the feeling of being the boss of your life in your world is not something that you would feel ashamed about, and you don't have to apologize. It just feels good to be you, and give yourself permission to be like as strong as you can be, and then feed into that energy, okay? Also with the Emperor here, I just want to add something before we wrap it up. You're not allowed to allow yourself to be taken advantage of by others, because they might see this energy in you and they think, oh my God, Tina's got something I want. I want to hang out with Tina. I want what she's got. I want to be in their world. But that would be an exploitive type of energy, and that's not allowed. If you can smell on people, if they are, let's say, what's that word? Relationships of convenience, or fair weather friends, like, hey Tina, how are you doing today? Do you want to come over here and do this and do that, and let's go out for lunch, how about that? And you end up having lunch together, and when the bill comes, the other person steps, oh, I gotta go to the bathroom, I'll be back in a while. Okay, those kind of situations are not allowed. Anyway, I think this is a good, strong, self-affirming reading here, and it's just do what you got to do, be the boss of you, no apologies. Hello, Queen of Water, I didn't know you were here. Hi there. Oh God, Queen of Water, please remind me again, where are you? Are you down there in Australia? Just a reminder. Tina, thank you so much. I hope you get something out of this. Thank you for your kindness and generosity over the years, and mega congratulations. Yeah. Yeah, people love being around your energy. Just don't let them take advantage of you, okay? There we go. Mid-loss of executive function. I don't know how much time I have left. Okay, well, make the most of it. Okay. Okay, I'm just shuffling up for the next reading. Elizabeth, are you ready? Are you here? You are an Aussie. I thought so. I remember now. I know. I'm thinking about your email address and so on. Yeah, okay, I got it. I haven't heard from my dear friend Johnny. He was an Aussie mate of mine over the years, and he was very socially conscious and stuff. A very, very strong guy. Amazing character. And he helped me a lot, and I helped him, and so on. And he's kind of advanced now into America, settled here, and I believe he's living up in, where is it? Park City, Utah. Probably, it sounds like a very beautiful little place. And I was telling him, like, oh, what's life like over here in Las Vegas? Oh, what's like for you, Johnny, over there in Utah? It's a big change for you. And so I don't know what's happened, but I'm just going to share a little something which has kind of left me a little bit upset. And okay, I just want to do this because I've never shared this with anybody. So there's Park City, Utah. It's right in the middle of America. Small town, a ski town. They have the Sundance Film Festival there. I have a friend who goes there pretty much every year. She says it's absolutely beautiful. Anyway, Johnny moved there, and last I heard he was there with some sort of mate partner, some kind. And I was just chatting with him on email, like, hey, how are you doing, buddy? How did you survive getting out of Los Angeles? Okay. And I said, yeah. But I'm over here in Las Vegas now. I live up in the Northeast area by Nellis Air Force Base. It's a Hispanic, blue collar, well-to-do, middle, hard-working, like blue collar, middle class type of area. Families everywhere. It's all Hispanic. A small portion of black families. And lots of trucks, and it's relatively very safe to what I was used to. And then I said, just casually, I don't really see any white people here. I feel like I might have gone tribal or something, and I kind of miss being around a few white people. And I never heard back from him. And I'm wondering if it's because I said something offensive. Maybe I did or didn't. But I don't think I said anything offensive. And I kind of miss him. Okay? Anyway, that's just a confession I had to make. Okay, let's have a look. We're going to move on. Elizabeth, I hope you're ready. We got to get over here. Oh, somebody's talking about what the some cognitive impairment, whatever it was that you said, Tina. I don't know if this works, but I'm going to share something with you, Tina, before we move on to Elizabeth. Thank you, Queen of Water. Since I'm sharing, my Aussie friend Johnny, he's a big guy. He's probably like 6'3". He was, years ago, he was the head coach of the World Australian rugby team. They would go around the world having rugby matches with the British, the Scottish, probably the New Zealanders, and where else do they play rugby? I think is it India somewhere? I don't know. But anyway, so he's used to being around really big guys, and a very, very classic male. Very, very, he was like almost like a brother or a father to me. More like a brother, like a big brother. Very strong, very supportive. And he said, man, I will never, ever forget you because you helped me to integrate into the United States and get a foothold here. And I went, oh, okay, well, I was just doing what I can. But he said, no, you don't understand. I'm so grateful. And then time moves on, years and years go by. And early on when I knew him, he was also on the side, he was doing very big stuff in finance to do with financing things like massive solar projects and wind projects, for green energy. And I believe he was probably saturated in that kind of very, climate change kind of culture. We have to save the planet and everything like that, get electric cars like that. And everybody has to be happy together. We have to have open immigration. Everybody has to mingle, and you can have Muslims with Christians and Jews with Arabs, and everyone's going to be happy, and it's going to be just wonderful. And I don't really see life that way. And so I don't know, I think, I have a feeling, I kind of felt it like he was deeply offended when I said, like, maybe I'm turning tribal or something, but I just don't see any white people here, and I'm feeling kind of weird about it. I don't know what to do. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that. Okay. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Tina. I had to mention. I was trying to. I got stuck up in my own story. I had to finish it off. Okay, so that's the end of my story about Johnny. I love you very much, Johnny, wherever you are. I'm sorry if I hurt your feelings. Anyway, Tina, about this cognitive thing, I was reading something how there's this friend of mine, he does what's called red light therapy. And it's because he has all these multiple health issues. And he heard about this red light therapy, which is something to do with laser lights, like in a suntan bed. And it seems to be working. And his general demeanor, his general health seems to have improved really significantly since he started a few months ago. And I think he goes like 2 or 3 times a week. And as I was studying this stuff, I came across some material where there's some red light therapy people who are branching out into other forms of light therapy. And I think it's some kind of green laser light stuff that they're using on the brain. And what they're discovering is that they've got some remarkable healing that's happening with this. I wish I could, I guess you could call it, I think it's green light therapy. But anyway, it's a different way. It's not the big tanning bed things. It's much more like a handheld, it's like a handheld device, and they move it around your head, and they infuse your head with this laser green light therapy, and they are showing really good positive results. So, I don't know. I know you were telling me, Tina, that, finding the right doctors or the right places and the specialists is a little challenging in New Mexico, but I just thought I'd put it out there, okay? Yeah. All right. All right, so Elizabeth, you are up. All right. Hey, Queen of Water, I'm glad you're here tonight. I feel it's like really helping to balance things out and get the good vibes going. I would love to see the Tina Miller story advance in such a way that, it's great that you've got your new situation, and it's kind of sad, of course, that it's because of health issues. On the other hand, the show is not over by any means, because that 3 of Wands is taking you into a whole new chapter of life, okay? And it doesn't have to be crippling or debilitating at all. Oh, okay, so Elizabeth, you asked a very, very good question. That is exactly what they are trying to do with this light therapy for the brain. They're doing it for people who've suffered, traumatic injuries like car crashes or, assault and battery or some kind of accident where their head got damaged and it's affecting their brain. And that's what they're using this light brain therapy to do. But I remember reading in the scientific papers that they were describing how they're already starting to explore using this therapy for things like emotional conditions, depression, anxiety, and stuff like that. Absolutely. Thank you, Necessary. I hope I connect with him again. Yeah, I don't understand how it all works exactly. I mean, I went to a seminar for the red light therapy, and it was amazing. I really enjoyed it. And I can see how you could translate the technology to use it on a person's brain. I think it's a really, really good idea. And if they can figure it out and do it, that would be fantastic. Much better than doing pills or surgery. All right, Elizabeth, you are up. Wherever you are. All right, Elizabeth, here we go. What kind of messages do we have for Elizabeth Boucher this evening? That little post-it note's very curly. I'm going to see if I can really uncurl it a little bit. Let it have a chance to sit properly so you can see your own name. There you are. Okay. That's better. Okie doke. Cheers, everybody. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for your kind donations. All right. There we go. You know the deal, Elizabeth. This is my situational spread. It's a little black box. It's like the diagnostic tool that they use at the auto technician repair places. They plug it in under the dashboard of your car. It reads the computer and it figures out what the problem is. You have to reveal it to heal it. If you don't know what the problem is, you can't fix it. That's what this is all about. What's this? Hold on, I want to read this. Hold on, Elizabeth. M.D. Anderson thought I had sarcoid in the lungs, which is an autoimmune disease. If it's my brain too, it could explain some of the symptoms which show up. White matter changes in the brain. Very, very interesting. I think, of course, Tina, obviously you've got to pursue every avenue possible to address the health issues, because it sounds like they are the sort of health issues that are very, very hard to diagnose, let alone heal. So you've got to keep going at it. If there's a way that you can access or maybe click or study about that green light brain therapy, I recommend going for that. All right, Elizabeth, here we go. Brace yourself. All right. All right, here's the... What kind of messages do we have here for Elizabeth tonight that she needs to know that we couldn't otherwise figure out? Let's have a look. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges, and here's how we're going to handle things. And let's have a look at the external influences over here. Okay, so we've got the Five of Cups. Now, Elizabeth, I think you just mentioned... Could it work for mental illness? Could it work for... Somebody said, could it work for depression? Hold on, I want to check through the chat a minute. Where is that? Yeah, I was talking about green light therapies. Where is it? Hold on, give me a second. I'm sure I saw somebody there and it said, could this work for depression? Okay, I don't know. I guess I didn't... Hold on, give me a second. I gotta go to the... Okay, wait, hold on. Give me technology. Ouch. Technology. All right, okay. So, Elizabeth, if you don't mind, I'm going to share a little bit. We've all been basically in the same community with each other for years. Most of you, have a bit of awareness of each other. Elizabeth has had some extreme challenges in her life. and she's doing incredibly well and continues to do well. However, sometimes, like with certain challenges, they have lifelong scars, okay? And you just have to deal with it. And so that's what she does. So I'm sharing that with Elizabeth. I'm sharing that with everybody here so they know. And everybody also needs to know that I've been working with Elizabeth for a long time. And it's been a true honor and true pleasure. And every now and again, the theme, something like this, sadness, grief, comes up. Because I see it with multiple aspects, and before I actually go into the reading, I just want to share it from what I'm seeing and feeling directly, okay? There's grief, like when you suffer a permanent loss, like you've lost a loved one, for example, a family member, a pet, someone that was very, very close to you. You loved them, they loved you. It happens to everybody, and there's a word for it. It's grief from loss. And sometimes people don't recover, sometimes people do. Typically, it's a permanent wound, and it gets absorbed into your life and your world, and then you carry on with life. And every now and again, you get flashbacks, and it can be very, very painful. But humans are incredibly resilient about self-healing if they allow themselves to do so. So with your situation, Elizabeth, when I see the Five of Cups representing grief, it's, to me, this is not about feeling sorry for yourself, but it's on the understanding and the admission. Like some people who've experienced extreme trauma and have to live with episodes of grief, sadness, and depression and loss, it's a very painful experience, and you don't want it to happen. On the other hand, if you allow the energy to flow, then it moves through you and out of you, and you don't carry it. One of the worst things you can do is to try to suppress grief. It's just not healthy, because it will resonate and build up, because it needs to be expressed. And if you're in a chapter right now where something perhaps external to you, or perhaps even with yourself, you're going through an episode of grief, it's perfectly okay for you to go through an episode of grief, experiencing it as trauma, tragedy, and almost like a compact episode of severe depression, simply for yourself. It's okay. We've all been hurt to some degree by somebody or something that is not us. And it's sometimes the hurt and the damage can never ever be fully repaired or compensated, and there's no retaliation or revenge. It is what it is. It's a wound. It's a damage, and it comes with being born and living life. It happens to everybody at some point, certain degrees. But anyway, everyone has different ways of dealing with it. But in this situation, when I see the Five of Cups for you, Elizabeth, to me it's an indication that primarily it's okay for you to allow yourself to feel a moment of grief for yourself, which would trigger the energy of self-love. In other words, it's okay to give yourself a hug. Like every now and again, I have a little episode myself, and I allow myself to have a complete breakdown. I don't try to cover it up with activities or distractions or drugs or drink or alcohol or anything like that. I just deal with it. And it comes, and then it goes. And then I reset to healthy and normal. Okay? So, let's get on with it. Hold on, I want to see. Oh God, there's so many notes. Hold on, Like someone who's having a massive autoimmune disorder after taking a shot after shot after shot at all boosters. Just a thought, once you know the cause, it's easier to find the solution. Yes, necessary. That, in other words, you've got to reveal it to heal it. Sorry, I'm reading the chat, people. Give me a second. Sadness pops back up as a trigger, but you got 2 cups still upright. Thank you, Queen of Water. Let's remind Elizabeth, okay? There it is, right there. You see that, Elizabeth? It's not the end of the road. It's just a moment in life, okay? It could be external. Maybe you've witnessed something that's causing grief. Maybe you've lost somebody. But please, if this is concerning yourself, please allow for this, okay? Don't try and obstruct it. I was back in 2015. MD Anderson brought it up. I opted not to biopsy the nodules in my lungs due to the treatment being the same as COPD. Okay. Life on Earth side is about healing. Yes, Queen of What? Thank you. MD Anderson also told me sarcoid was mainly in the black population, but had crossed over to nurses and firemen. Oh, gosh. Yes, Tina. Of course, you've been exposed to so much tragedy and illness and disease. Necessary truth saying 5 stages of grief: denial, anger, negotiating, depression, and acceptance. Elizabeth now commenting, yes, it's very difficult, painful, and very heavy. It is. Grief is a very, very heavy energy. All right, let's not put it in denial. Let's just accept it for what it is. All right, let's have a look. What's the situation itself? Okay, Elizabeth, I'm feeling super, super warm and fuzzy. You've got the little 6 of Cups here. Queen of Water just mentioned memories, so this is very much about the past and past lives. And Elizabeth, yourself, you're talking about being in a coma last year. You have every legitimate reason to feel grief for yourself. It's tragic, okay? But you're still here. You're very conscious and aware, and we've had some epic conversations. So what I'm sensing here with the little 6 of Cups is just a reminder, dear Elizabeth, you're not alone. You have lived many past lives, just like each of us here. All of us here, there's no question about it. We've all lived through many past lives where there's been lots of tragedy, pain, suffering, grief, trauma, but we still keep going because there's more to learn, there's more to do. And if you're incarnating in this 3-dimensional life, you're here for a reason. And I don't know if you've noticed, Elizabeth, but you're with your people, okay? You're with us, Elizabeth. It's like our own little cozy community, and it's a very loving little community, and it feeds on itself. It's like resonance. I was talking about that earlier with the wine glasses. And so, for example, by sharing yourself here, allowing us to do readings with you, sharing your own personal stories. By the way, I just want to share with everybody, in case you aren't aware, Elizabeth is a writer. She has been working on her, I guess you could call it a novel, bio novel, or I don't know what they're called. I don't know if you're taking a break right now because we haven't talked about that in a few months. But yeah, Elizabeth has some very, very powerful, compelling stories which really need to be heard at some point. Whether they will or not, that's one thing. But the important thing is the actual writing itself. I don't know if you've ever gone through it. I call it writing therapy. I've done a lot of it myself, and it's a very healing modality. So just the writing itself. If you're taking a break right now, Elizabeth, I understand, because the subject matter is very grueling. Okay, so there we go. You're sharing in a very good place here, okay? Every morning you wake up with suicidal ideation. Well, guess what? Guess what, Elizabeth? You're with the right people, because I can pretty much vouch for you that everyone here has had the same experience. Okay? It's nothing to be ashamed of, okay? Nothing to be ashamed of. It's a very powerful phenomenon, and it can act like a vortex, a magnetic vortex, if you allow it to own you. The thing is, Elizabeth, you're very, very, very strong. Like, let's put it this way, very bluntly, don't be scared, but a lot of people would not have made it. Okay? They would have self-destructed long ago. But you're still here, Elizabeth. In some ways, you're stronger than ever. But does that heal the permanent wound? For example, if we did a deep astrology thing, we might find that Chiron is placed in a certain aspect that is very painful for you about a non-healing wound. I'm going to show you. Now, for the world right now, if you were a little child born today, and this is your birth chart for the day, you would be born with Chiron in Aries at around 20 degrees. Okay? Chiron represents, in simplest terms, the non-healing wound. It's the little, like the memory, the sense of tragedy and loss and pain and suffering that never heals. It just never, ever goes away. Of course, you don't live your life in that vortex all day. You live your life anyway, but every now and again, something touches a nerve in your life and you realize, oh God! Everybody has it somewhere in their chart for whatever reason. Mental illness, physical illness, financial sickness, career issues, language. It could be anything. It could be anywhere in your chart. Look at it this way. Chiron could be in any sign, in any house, okay? But wherever it is, that represents the non-healing wound with which you were born from the previous past life. So this is the card of past lives. And so you're carrying on through in this lifetime, and it's like part of the healing process. It's not fully healed, but you are healing and you are growing stronger. And let's see, I'm trying to think. Okay, I've got, just to make it easier to understand what we're talking about here, I have certain non-healing wounds. And they're to do with my spine. I had major spinal issues. I had major spinal surgery, crippling pain for years, heavy narcotics, total addiction to oxycodone for years, and constantly facing every day, I just want to commit suicide. And every day I looked at my bottle of oxycodone, I kept thinking, I'm just going to chug the whole fucking thing. I don't care anymore. But I didn't. Okay, I didn't. And many years later, I'm still here. I still have issues with my spine, with sciatica, my legs, my feet, my hips, my toes. But I've learned to live around it. And most people would never know I had an issue unless I tell them, like I'm saying right now, because I looked like I could walk pretty much normally. And, you know, but otherwise I sort of sit mostly normally. But there is not one part of me ever inside of my brain which is not aware of my spinal issues. I'm constantly having to adjust my spine, my body, my posture, the way I walk, the way I get in and out of a car, and so on and so on and so on. Now that's a physical issue. You've also got physical issues, okay, Elizabeth, but you've had also a lot of trauma here, in the brain, in the heart, in the soul, deep, deep damage. But the phenomenon is the same. It's the non-healing wound. It's there. It's just there. And every now and again, it gets triggered. And it's horrific. Okay? All right. So. Oh, gosh. Oh, God, there's so much chat tonight. I can't keep up with this. Hold on. Okay, I'm going to go. Oh, my darling, that's because you've seen the other side. Okay, God loves you. See, Elizabeth, I told you, you're in the right place with the right people at the right time for the right reasons. Okay, you got it? You're fine. You are safe. You are protected. Tina's saying neurosarcoidosis is sarcoidosis that affects the nervous system, the brain, spinal cord, peripheral nerves. Sarcoidosis is an inflammatory disease that occurs when the immune system goes into overdrive for an that sounds horrible. Ew. Elizabeth, I want to accomplish my mission, but I don't know what God wants me to do. Okay. Queen of Water is saying, you will help others. Aha! Aha! Elizabeth, you live alone? You see what's happening here, people? it used to happen a lot, but it's happening tonight as well, where the community itself acts as an amplifier for the reading. So, Queen of Water, please chip in. Tina, thank you so much. Love Tribe is also really good at that stuff too. Elizabeth, you live alone. Yes, that makes it harder with SI. Do you have a therapist? Yes. Okay. And if connection is to coma, I'm at a loss there. Okay. God wants you to be you. Love one another as I have loved you. John 13:34. Don't stop your mission, Elizabeth. Tell your story. Write. You're here to spread love and healing through your writing. Whoa! Kablam! Call on God every day. He's the warriors gets the biggest assignments. Oh, wow. If it helps 10 people and those 10 people share it with another 10 people and so on. Wow. God, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you. Oh, God. Hey, Elizabeth, I'm so glad you came here tonight and we're doing this reading. It's like a superpower mega reading that's being supercharged by all the people who are here. It's fantastic. Thank you. Okay, so what are the challenges here? Let's have a look. Okay, it's healing itself. Okay, temperance is very much about healing, and you can't force it. That's one of the problems. It would be just like, damn, I wish I could just fix it and I don't have to deal with it anymore. But it's an ongoing process, which means constantly having to dress the wound, so to speak. Let's pretend it's like a more of a physical wound that we're talking about, where there's a lot of people, okay, in America who have permanent non-healing wounds, and they might be stuck in a wheelchair, a bed, or with a cane or a stick or some kind of situation where they have to go in and get treatments every day, week, month, or whatever. If you remember Path Traveler, she passed away when was that? Quite a while ago. She had issues with kidneys. She gave away one kidney, and she lived with one for the rest of her life. Very powerful soul. But for years, I think, from what I can recall, she had to go in and get the dialysis. Okay, so people who have, I'm just thinking of an example, Elizabeth, so I can convey the theme and the story of the reading here. When we're talking about non-healing wounds, you have your particular set of wounds. Psychic, spiritual, emotional, physical, all of those, all of those wounds. And because they're non-healing wounds, they need constant, regular treatment. Kindness, the healing power, love, and so on. It's no different from somebody who has, let's say, diabetes, and every day they keep having to check their numbers and having to balance their insulin and so on. Same thing with people who have had amputations. They probably have to have wound dressings every month, professional dressings, and people who've had car crashes, they need physiotherapy every week or every month or something like that, or rehabilitation, and so on and so on. It never ever stops. I'm very lucky because I've done so much self-healing, and I've learned how to do a lot of my own self-healing myself. So I don't go to doctors anymore for my spine. I have other health issues, but I'm just trying to give you an example so that you understand the dynamics, okay? So in your situation, it's a non-healing wound. It's deeply traumatizing. It brings you constantly to the brink of wanting to just vacate this life altogether. It's understandable. It needs treatment on a regular basis, and you already know that. You've been advancing in the world of treatment extremely well over the years. It's very, very hard to get treated for your situation, but you're doing it. And you've become better and better and better and better and better at self-healing by like going to places and services and people that provide ongoing healing to the non-healing wound. In other words, it just needs constant treatment. And every time you have to come to that awareness, oh God, I got to go to the doctor again. Oh, I got to go to therapy again. It's like, fuck, I'm so sick of this. I wish I could just fix it and be done and move on. Ugh. That's what it feels like to have a non-healing wound. We all have it somewhere, okay? Okay, so it sounds like I'm being pretty tough, but anyway, you got to hear it. So the challenge is dealing with the reality that it is a non-healing wound. It needs constant care and attention. Okay? It's very, very soothing. Very, like if it was a physical wound and you had some kind of permanent wound here and you had to apply bandages and balms and healing ointments every other day or something. It's just tedious, and you just think, I wish I just had a perfect arm or a perfect hand. Anyway, let's move on. How are we going to deal with all this moving forward? Okay, see, strength, Elizabeth. You're very, very strong. And the thing is, it's about captivating that strength so that it's like, so that, think of this as an energy field, very powerful energy field. If you wanted to, you could allow yourself to become the ultimate worst kind of victim. And then you start pointing fingers and blaming everybody and hating people, hate, hate, hate. The strength card is basically saying, like, to move forward, you have to understand that, I think Necessary said this earlier, like, the kind of challenges that you've had to endure, Elizabeth, God would never have allowed you to come here unless you were very, very strong already, in that case, already fully equipped to handle the challenges for the long term, knowing that ultimately it's a spiritual journey. It's not about having success in this lifetime, like, hey, I fixed it, so now I can go to parties every day, I can find a rich, handsome man, and have a flashy car, and a cute little villa on the Costa del Sol or somewhere in the south of France. It's not like that at all. What it is, it's about a spiritual journey. You're very, very strong, Elizabeth. Hold on. Hi, Bubba. Bubba is here. Bubba is here, people. I'm going to say, come on, Bubba, say hi to everybody. Hey, Elizabeth, that's basically a reading. Okay, hold on. Hi, Bubba. There's Bubba. There's little Bubba. I'm going to get you some snacks in just a second, okay, Bubba? And then we're going to read for Gregory, all right? So, Elizabeth, it's just a reminder here, the strength card in the end, it's like, because I kind of know you, Elizabeth. You're a very, very, very strong person. Okay? Most people would never have been able to cope. You managed, and something that you seem to do very well is that you put on you bring a lot of light and life and joy to the room. Whenever I've been with you, even if you've had a very sad moment, you somehow or other find a way to laugh and joke around with me and have fun and be happy, because you love to be happy. I think one of the reasons you love to be happy is because you know what it's like to have that happiness removed from your life by evil people. All right, it's time. I got to take care of little Bubba, so I'm going to put on some something here for you, and I'll leave this reading here up on the screen, okay, Elizabeth, while I go take care of little Bubba, okay? So just please bear with me, people. Still busy, folks. Give me a second here, okay? Ooh, gotta take care of business, little Bubba. Oh, man. Oh, goodness. All right. He's fine, by the way. He's gonna be fine. Just take care of business. All right. Thank you, Elizabeth. I just got back, okay? Bubba is fine. He's been very, very sensitive these last few weeks, ever since Boo Boo departed. And I have to pay very close attention to little Bubba so that he doesn't, you know, get too upset. All right, Mr. Ross, you are up. Let's have a look here. I'm going to shuffle up a little tiny bit while we're all... okay. I was just checking the chat, see what I missed. Okay. All right. You see there, Elizabeth? Fact. God blessings are coming your way, okay? So it is written, so it is done. Amen. Amen. Yeah, the power of prayer, the healing power of prayer is actually quite mind-boggling. The healing sometimes comes in ways that we don't really fully understand in the moment, but it is quite a mind-boggling phenomenon. So let's have a look over here. Oops, damn it. I hope I didn't lose that card. Okay, well, I think we're fine. Okay. Amen. Oh, Elizabeth, you are a trooper, that's for sure. God, when you think of everything you've endured, Elizabeth, and how you managed to put a smile, you're very, very jovial. Okay, you have to remember that. You may not think so, but you know, I have experience because I've hung out with you over the years, and you spread a lot of joy. You're very jovial. You like to be happy. You like to have fun. And that's a good thing too. God's blessings are with you, Elizabeth. So it is written, so it is done. Okay. All right, here we go. Hey, Elizabeth? Elizabeth, are you seeing the notes there? You're getting an invitation. From what I can tell, you're getting an invitation. Okay? Jovial and fun, but tears of a clown. Oh boy, oh boy. All right. Make sure you write it down, Elizabeth, otherwise we'll lose it in the chat later on. All right, here we go. All right, Mr. Ross, you are up. That's you, Gregory Ross, sir. Cards are well shuffled in, and we've done it to the right. Thank you for your patience, everybody, while I took care of little Bubba. He's fine. I just got him some fresh water and some fresh food, so he should be happy for a little while. Okay. All right, here we go. All right, what kind of messages do we have from Mr. Ross tonight? Mr. Ross is a busy man, very active in society, with the community. All right, this could be anything. We're going to go completely wild, completely blind. Let's see what happens. All right, let's have a look. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle things going forward. Let's have a look at the external influences. Could be anything. We'll see if we have to correlate it with the planets and the astrology. I don't know. So we have the Ten of Pentacles. Whoopity-doo. Okay, so I'm just going to go to my default little mantra. If you don't mind, I'll come back in just a second, but it kind of goes like this. Hi, Bubba, come up here. Come and hang out with me. Oh, you still licking your chops? Yum, 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 yum. Okay. So, just as much as anyone else, I am deeply prone to intense self-pity and misery, okay? Where are you going, Bubba? What are you doing? So, when I just saw the Ten of Pentacles for you, Gregory, right there, it's surrounding you. And to me, it's a reminder for me to share with you that you have to understand in your own way, you are the embodiment of one of my famous bumper stickers. This is what I recite this to myself, I don't know, at least several times a day. It goes like this. Actually, I turn my hands towards myself. Like I go like this. And I chant it to myself. If I'm in the car or walking or napping or something. I'm a very lucky man. I'm a very wealthy man. I'm a really happy man. I'm a really blessed man. And I do it like I'm trying to audition for a commercial or a role in a movie or something. Sometimes it'll be like, I'm a very lucky man. I'm a very wealthy man. I'm a very happy man. I'm a very blessed man. And I just do it over and over and over. And it makes me feel like I'm fucking rich. I've got it all. Of course, I have all my anxieties and worries. But one of the most valuable things is that I do feel, ever since I was a little kid, I've always found a way to brainwash myself into believing and feeling that I'm freaking loaded, man. And I think it was Love Triber. Yeah, I think it was Love Triber who was telling me a story the other day, like a parable. And I don't know if I'm going to try and say it. I don't know if Love Triber's here, but I'm going to say it and try to say it anyway. So there's this guy. Okay, imagine you're in some kind of Mediterranean Greek island. And you're on the coast. You live in a little tiny village. Your family's been there for generations. And you go out onto your little wooden fishing boat. And you go out for a couple hours and you come back with 2 beautiful fish. You park up your boat, you walk up the hill, down the twisty cobbled lanes into your beautiful Greek cottage. And your family is there and you say, okay, let's go. And you cook up a beautiful meal. You hang out, you talk, you have a sip of Greek wine. You enjoy the friends and the family. Some neighbors come over. You sit on the porch. It's a beautiful sunset. It's just amazing. And then you start yawning and you go to sleep and go to bed. And good night, everybody. See you tomorrow. And you wake up early in the morning. It's dawn. You get the boat ready. You go out. You can find a couple more fish and then you go back in again. And then one day, you're doing this and some guy meets you in the harbor and says, "Wow, that looks like a pretty good catch. Wow, well done." And the guy says, "Yeah, it just took me a couple of hours." And the other guy says, "Really? That's fantastic. So what happens then?" And the guy says, "Well, I go home and I cook it and I eat it." And the guy, the other man says, "Well, like if you went out there for 8 hours, you'd have, let's see, 4, 2, 4, 6, 8. Sorry, I'm trying to do math. 2 hours is 2 fish. 8 hours is 8 fish. You might come back with 8, 10, 12 fish. Do you realize that?" And the old man goes, "Well, I guess, yeah." And then then the other guy says, if you did that, you're rich, man. You could take that, you could sell them. You could go out and sell them and put that money in your pocket. And then you could buy a better boat and go out and get more fish. You could go out and a month later, you could have a bigger, better boat with more nets and more rods and everything. You could hire an assistant. You'd have dozens and dozens of fish, and you could sell them at the market. You'd be rich. It's like, and then the guy says to the old man, it says like, the old man says like, why would I do all that? Why would I do all that? And then the other person says, well, it's because you'd be making so much money, you'd be so rich that eventually you could have time out when you're retired. Like, if you're like 40 years old now and you've got another 20 years or so, when you're retired, then you can hang out with your friends and your family and cook nice meals together. And then the fisherman goes like, I do that already. Okay, so I hope that parable makes sense. You're rich already, okay? Because you have the time. You're not motivated by greed or lust or power or money. You like your friends. You like your family. You like your time. You like to enjoy nature, the beauty of life and the rhythms of life, okay? Anyway, I just wanted to share that for you, Gregory Ross. So, to me, this little Ten of Pentacles is just kind of a very, very, very gentle reminder from the universe to you that you're already rich. If I was a rich man, yes, a very, 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 very rich man. Well, you're already there. You got it. I mean, in some ways, you can never have enough. It's wonderful to be rich in your own way, some way, somehow. Okay? So, anyway, this is just, it makes me feel like this is beautiful. It's just, don't ever forget, dear Gregory Ross, how fortunate you are, how blessed you are, how lucky you are, how happy you are. Again, Gregory, you have such an amazing capacity for joy, and certainly bringing joy to other people's lives. All right, let's have a look. What's the situation itself? Magic, the magician. Okay, I'm feeling a bit of a question mark with this. It's kind of a question where it's just like, okay, thank you, TarotLumination, for that, pep talk kind of thing. But, yeah, so you didn't say I'm a very powerful man. You said I'm very lucky, I'm very wealthy, I'm very happy, I'm very blessed. But what about my magic powers? Well, I didn't mention that because that's just not part of my bumper sticker. But I guess when you combine all those things together that I mentioned, it kind of puts you in the zone of like, okay, well, let's say that I am all that. Thank you, TarotLumination. What exactly am I supposed to do with all of that? Yes. How am I supposed to wield my magic? How am I supposed to share my gifts, my wonders? The power of the spoken word, power of the written word, the power of my intellect, the power of my heart, my loving heart aura. Which is it? Some of you know we've all been working together for years, Gregory Ross included. Gregory Ross, in case you hadn't noticed, his aura is expanding. And it's radiating some of that sparkly vibes that comes with love. And it becomes kind of irresistible. All right, let's have a look. What are the challenges here? The Emperor. Okay. Now, Okay, I'm just going to call out what I'm sensing here, okay, Gregory? partly because of things that we know already from history. But what I'm sensing is that, oh, this is great, TarotLumination. Thanks for that reminder. Thanks for that reminder. That's fantastic. I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah. But the problem is, let's face it, there are a bunch of fucking assholes and bastards out there in my life who are not only trying to screw me up, but they revel, they take great joy in being complete tyrannical monster assholes. And I'm kind of sick of it, to be honest. There we are. Excuse my language. It's understandable. I'm just going to, if you don't mind, I'm just going to do a little kind of a parallel analogy thing here. There's this guy, Donald. Okay, he's very rich. He's very famous, very successful. He is running for the highest office in the land, possibly one of the most powerful, important jobs in the world. Even though, you know, the deep state elite banking cartels really don't care who is holding office, so long as the uniparty deep state keeps going. In other words, the President of the United States, as far as they're concerned, the elites are concerned, they're just a bumper sticker. They're like a hood ornament, like it says Ford or Mercedes or Dodge or Chevrolet or something. It's like a little, you know, the thing, the badge, okay? But with Donald, it's a little bit different. Donald has immense power. He has inherited that power. He brought it with him in this lifetime. He's lived many, many lifetimes to get to the position to be who he is, where he is right now. And for better or worse, he is running for office. Some people don't like him. Some people do. And he is facing the biggest enemy in the world, which is the enemy within. That is inside America. That is the deep state, evil monster, cannibalistic, vampiristic cabal that owns and controls and operates this country, whether we like it or know it or not. Donald is facing off that. The only reason that can happen is because he's very, 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 very powerful, equally powerful. Now, he can't do that on his own. The way I feel it with Donald is that he has chosen this lifetime to be an instrument, and he is here at this lifetime as an instrument for the healing power of love to work through him. He is a vessel. He is an instrument. And with great power comes great responsibility. In other words, he's not at this age, at this point in his life with all this money and power and wealth and beautiful Mar-a-Lago and a beautiful wife and the kids and the family and fame and glory. He's not that. In fact, he's being challenged to do the most horrific thing possible, which is basically go to war with the deep state. And it's kind of like I'm trying to draw a parallel here with you, Gregory, in that you have abundance, you have all of that, and you have the power. You have power, but what exactly you're going to do with it? You already know what like these demonic forces are like. They transmit through things that look like people. In other words, people who hold high office. And sometimes people who hold high office, they become victims of power, money, and control. It becomes highly addictive, and that's all they care about anymore is power and money and control. And they turn into tyrannical monsters who revel in joy, they revel in evil. And the more evil they can propagate and disseminate, the more joy they have. And sadly, it's like a Donald Trump story. It's the reason that those people have been attracted to you in this life is because you have this power, and they resent it. Do you see what I'm trying to? It's almost like power. Both cards are very, very, very powerful, but in very, very different ways. Okay. So that's, again, with great power comes great responsibility. And so you can't do this on your own. Donald is actually very blessed because he's receiving astronomical amounts of the healing power of prayer from all across America. In fact, from all across the world, there are prayer groups that are actively sending power, prayer, energy to Donald Trump so that he can do what has to be done. Okay? To me, I'm just saying this as what I consider a fact. If you don't like hearing it, then I'm sorry, I don't mean to hurt your feelings. But anyway, the challenges right now, of course, Gregory, is that there's a couple of these monsters in your life, in your world. And it's like, you don't need them, you don't want them, but they're there. And they need to be dealt with. Okay? Okay? Never fear. Okay? All right, Liz, how are we going to move forward dealing with all of this? Good. Oh, boy. Okay, I've got the Four of Wands here. Okay, I didn't say this earlier, but now I'm going to say it. Okay, let's put this aside for a moment. I mean, it's very beautiful, isn't it? There are beautiful cards, beautiful imagery and everything. But what I'm sensing here is this. I know, I'm going to have to squash it up here. Sorry, to fit it on the screen. Why am I doing this? It's because this is what I'm sensing out of your reading. The Emperor here is symbolizing what I often quote over here as the monstrous, these demonic, satanic, evil, monstrous people who resonate with the lowest forms of energy. Capricorn, 29.5 degrees to crisis point over here. The only thing they care about is power and money and control. And over here is you, the magician. Also very, very, very powerful. Okay? And it's happening live right now. This is the aspect of war. I haven't written it on here because I don't want to trigger an algorithm or anything. But this is war. Mars opposite Pluto is war. And in some ways it's a very equally matched war, but very different forms of executing the war, prosecuting war. And so that's what you're dealing with. There's you just being you, and there's them just being them. Okay? And it's a warlike dynamic. And this is going to sound very strange, but this is like the coming together of people to celebrate, okay? Harmonious celebration. So, I don't want to prompt you with some kind of like revenge story. Give me a second here. Sorry, Gregory. I'm just sensing there might be another theme going on, but let's carry on with this one for now. So with the Four of Wands here, what I'm sensing is the way forward is to celebrate this. Enjoy it. In other words, it's just like, okay, I'm going to have to do some of the TarotLumination acting stuff. Okay, so bear with me. Okay, so I'm just trying to do a very, very simplified story here to convey the meaning of the reading as I sense it. So it's just like there's a man walks into a bar. Everybody knows you. Everybody knows what's going on in the background. Local drama, this, that. And everybody has a right to be there, but things have been bubbling up and bubbling up and bubbling up. And it's got all the markings and all the vibes of an impending bar fight. Yep. And so, The bar fights turn out in all sorts of different ways. I'm not really a bar fight person. I'm not going to go into that. Okay, so let me just share the story as I'm sensing it. There's a bar fight type of dynamic. It's like, imagine you are in your power, okay, Gregory? And it's not a bar fight, but it's just it's your world. There's your world, and there's these characters here, there, and everywhere. Good people, bad people, neutral people. Some people love you, some people and that's what we're talking about with the Emperor. Maybe one person in particular, maybe one person symbolizes a group of people in particular. And it's turned into a one-on-one, okay? And so, I know we've worked on this before, but this is, I have a feeling what this reading is about is to amplify the momentum that we generated recently in our readings together. So what I'm sensing, the way forward in the situation is like pretend I'm you, Gregory. Okay, just imagine I'm Gregory Ross there, and we're in a bar fight, and it's an inescapable situation. It's been building up. You know it, they know it, the enemy knows it, you know it, and it's just like, you know what? And you're just sitting there trying to enjoy life, you know. I just want to have a nice life. I just want to enjoy my 10 of Pentacles, if you don't mind. I'm sitting here pondering what to do with all my magical powers, if you don't mind. I'm a very lucky man. You're hanging out with your buddies. I'm a very lucky man. I'm a very wealthy man. I'm a really happy man. And I'm a really blessed man. You know what? That's it. Yeah. And then in the background, it's that fucking asshole screwing up my life. You know what? Let's do this. Let's do this. Okay, motherfucker. I'm going to take you down. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on. Come on, come on. You want to be nasty? You want to be nasty? Come on, come on. I know you want this. I know you want this. Come on. Let's do this. Come closer, Mr. Enemy. Come closer, enemies. Oh, you really want to mess with Gregory Ross? Oh, you poor deranged lunatic. Oh, let me give you a hug. And then you headbutt the bastard. Blood all over their face. Their nose is cracked and broken. And you turn it into a party. And everyone else in town who's there, who's also is kind of intimidated by this asshole, eventually they kind of go, yo, Gregory, yo, yeah. And then you're like, oh, excuse me, hold on. Excuse me, just a moment here. Sorry about that. I have to clean the smudge off. Sorry about that. Anyway, where were we? The show's over. The show's over. Oh, go on. Okay, I did a dramatization of your reading. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Okay? So, Gregory, I hope you like it. In other words, if you're going to go to war, make a party out of it. Have some fun. Enjoy it. Enjoy winning. Enjoy the phenomenon. Enjoy the process. Embrace your power. Give yourself permission to use unlimited tactics, strategies, resources on command. You get it? That's how that goes. Yay! Go, Gregory! God, we've had quite a strange evening. It feels to me like each reading with the Tina, Elizabeth, and Gregory, each reading was in the end, it's just like, yo, go Tina! Yo, go Elizabeth! Yo, go Gregory! Yeah. Against all odds. So much fun. Sorry, I got a bit fruity there with my language. I don't want to scare anybody. So, yeah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. So, I think we'll leave it at that. We have lives to live, stuff to do, places to go. You've got your snow. Elizabeth has the beach. I've got mountains and clouds. I think Queen of Water, maybe she's still here. She's got Australia. Yep. Thank you, Tina. Thank you, Necessary. Thank you, Queen of Water. Thank you, Gregory. Thank you, everybody here. And we'll do this again. What's that? Yellowstone. Okay. You know, I'm just going to leave it here for a few minutes while people are still chatting. I don't want to mess up the vibes. I'm going to shuffle cards, okay? And Yellowstone is on. Okay, just I don't want to stop you. Go see your Yellowstone, okay? I'm going to wrap it up here slowly so people can decompress gently and all of that stuff. What's this? Risk factors for suicidal ideation following mild traumatic injury. Whoa. Hey, Elizabeth, I don't know if you... Elizabeth, can you see this? Can you see this in the chat, Elizabeth? I hope you can see that. Scroll back in the chat. There's a very important link there for you from Tina. All right. Okay, all right, okay. All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I am going to go over to the stage. I don't want to play TarotLumination music. I'm just going to play a little tune in the background while people unwind and move on with life and so on. Just something gentle. Okay. Water on a sweet note. Good night, everybody. See you again soon. Thanks for your kindness, love, and generosity, and group self-healing. Take care. Oh, feel free to visit TarotLumination on Rumble. It's rumble.com. Search TarotLumination. It's the same thing. Go for the blue dot, and you'll see you there. Okay?